Hi everyone. Let me give you a little pointer guide on number 3 in chapter 4. It's the static. This is on page 255 in the 7th edition book that I'm looking at. And in your problem, it asks you about, in regards to prompting a user, that asks the user to type in a number. Write a program that prompts a user to input the integer between 0 and 35 if the number is less than or equal to 9. The program should output the number. Otherwise, it should output the A for number 10, B for number 11, C for number 12, and Z is 35. And you look at the hint part of this. It says use the cast operator, the static cast char, for numbers greater than or equal to 10. I want to turn your attention to the back of your book. This is the 7th edition book. There's a table back of your book on page 1299, or Appendix C in your 6th edition. I don't know where that is, just find where that is, but it's called Appendix C. And it refers to this table. Don't worry about memorizing this. I just want you to know how to read this table. I will provide this table for you in case if you need it for the exam, so there's no need to memorize this. So what is an ASCII table? This is the American Standard Code for Information Interchange with it. This is how your keyboard and your character set gets translated through machine language to get translated from a higher level programming to a lower level programming. For instance, so what is uppercase A? You're looking at here. Read the row. This is the row over here. Row is row 6. Column is 5. So the number for uppercase A is 65. Look at uppercase B. Row is 6. Column is 6. So the number is 66. And so on. So I want you to be familiar with this before you understand how to use static casts and all that stuff with it. And it relates to some of the things that we're going to talk about in the string data type as well. So please be comfortable to read this table. So take another one, for example. Take the pound sign. The value is 3 is the row and the column is 5. So it's 35 is the pound sign, and so on with it. So in this problem, they're saying that if you read this problem, it says anything, you're prompting the user for the information to type in from 1 through 9 or equal to 9, and you're going to output that number. If it's greater than 9, meaning 10, 11, or 12, you need to output the uppercase A, uppercase B for 11, uppercase C, and so on all the way down to, if you look at what is the value for Z, is 35. Okay, so I want to give you some things I want to talk to you about. Is take a look at this structure that we have. You have just to start out with, you need to prompt the user, right? So prompting the user, of course, you're going to have the IO input-output stream variable in this thing. So somewhere in here, you need to declare the variable that you are prompting the number to be stored in. So the good number that you're looking at is all those. So give it some data type. What data type? You don't want to overkill this thing, right? And int is a good data type to use for this thing. So somewhere in here, you declare the int as number, whatever it is with it. You need to prompt the user. So prompt the user here. You're going to read in what the user input. So you can prompt the user, please enter a number, an integer between 0 to 35. And then you're going to read in, see in that number that you declare up here with it. After you read it in, the number that you read in with it, you store that into that number that you declare up here with it. You're going to read out, you're going to prompt the user to enter basically the number to output to the user. Let the user know. So I'm going to say right here, perhaps you want to output to the screen what the user input. Okay, so perhaps in like output, like C out, the number you enter is whatever that num comes out to be, right? And the output of that needs to be something along that line. Then you output another string, or something that says output is what is it. So that's where the structure comes in. The structure that you will actually put in here is goes like this. So somewhere in here that your structure that you're going to have structure for the something very simple, two-directional or two-directional selection, or select two-direction selection type of number. So if something, if it's less than 9, it's less than or equal to 9, you're going to output the number. If the number is less than that you input in comes in as less or equal to 9, then you're going to output the number. Else, then you have to use that static cast to actually cast it. So let's talk about that. Else. That else I'm talking about is about the static cast. So the static cast, you and I know the static underscore cast, and that has the data type goes here, and then the expression, if you recall, goes here. Okay. So let's talk about this thing. Based on what we have, I'm going to put this here so both of us could see both sides of this thing. So I'm talking about this thing right here. I'm talking about this expression right here. What is it that you put in here that you add to, all right, and it converts it to the data type that you want. Remember now, if you input greater than 9, meaning 10, if you add 10 to it, if you put in 10, it needs to convert this to a what? A letter. What is the data type that casts a letter? One letter. Okay. So I'm not going to give that away. But the expression in here, right, needs to add it to a value. Look. 65 is the uppercase A, right? If you add it to what value will give you 65. So if I input in 10 inside of this, what is it? What's my expression? Okay, so let me just write this like this so you can see what here's the expression. Add it to what value, all right, will give me, basically in this expression, what two value added together in here will give me 65. Okay, so this first number, it tells you in that problem what is that first number. All right, so if you hint 10, you type in 10, right? 10 plus the number, right? So if it's 65, subtract 10, and that's your number. All right, so 65, if you subtract 10, whatever that number is, you put here, and then you put the num here that you read in here, and you have to convert that over to the type. You got it? I can't give you any more hint than that. So that is my closest hint I want to give to you on this one. But the key thing is the structure that you are writing here, the if structure, the selection structure that you are putting right here, that I already typed in already. Remember now, if you type in anything less than, so if it's an if, you're going to type in if, I'm going to call this thing whatever the number is less than or equal to 9, you're going to output what? You're going to output the actual number. If it's greater than 9, which is false, right? Else. This is greater than 9, right? So what are you going to output in here? So if it's greater than 9, this has to output the letter uppercase. Okay, so if it's 10, if I type in 10 add with what number, all right, will convert that to what data type as uppercase A, uppercase B, and so on. Okay, so that is my my instructions for this class, for this part. Thank you.